Alrighty, guys, we are back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have Elliott Wilson and DJ Head speaking on people attacking Kendrick Lamar for being on Playboi Carti's album, going on to say it proved that Kendrick is the new leader now. And the backlash Kendrick Lamar has been getting from some for being on this project is honestly hilarious, since Kendrick and Carti share common childhood friends, and I'll leave it at that. But I definitely think we saw how Carti felt about Drake after Carti didn't clear his verse for Drake's No Face record, because a Playboi Carti feature would have definitely helped that record out. Plus, the fact that no Drake records were on the project, even though academics claim Carti played in one of the records, is very telling. At very least, understanding where Drake's stock is relative to Kendrick. And guys, Kendrick has always been a premier feature, and given his run and ties to Carti, it was basically a no-brainer for both artists. Obviously, we see why anyone would want to have a Kendrick Lamar feature. I mean, even Drake requested one literally right before the beef. But some people may not realize how big Carti is, with one of the most loyal fan bases, actually very rabid fan bases, and his latest doing some monster numbers. So yeah, obviously having Kendrick Lamar on there was definitely going to have a lot more people speaking about the album that probably wouldn't be listening to Playboi Carti. But when you're the king at anything, it's definitely going to put a target on your back. And after looking at some of the comments, they look like they're coming from some very sad Drake stans, still denying the Drake dismantling of 2024, which will definitely go down in rap history. And as far as the sound on those party records, Kendrick has done records like these for years. You can basically check any of his collaborations with Keem to see this fact. And quick side note, for all the people still saying that Keem is writing for Kendrick, where is that pen on Keem's music? I like his records too, but come on now. So enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into the video where we have Elliott Wilson and DJ Head speaking on people attacking Kendrick Lamar for being on Playboi Carti's album, going on to say it proved that Kendrick is the new leader now. And the numbers are currently showing just that, with him being the #1 selling artist of 2025 so far in terms of album units.
For music fans, of how much do you attach the person and the human to the art. And it's funny you brought that up, because you see it with Kanye, you see it with Cardi, and you see it with Kendrick. And I think right now there's certain people that are just struggling with how to feel. Am I a hypocrite for feeling certain things? Like, even I'll admit, like, I'm the biggest hypocrite of 2025, like the same way Kendrick said it. I enjoyed Carti's album, and I do not think that Carti, based on the information that I have, whether it be true or not.
Obviously, Iggy has had a lot to say about how he chooses to father his kids, calling him a deadbeat and a plethora of things. But I honestly don't think Carti's fan base seems to care about that at all. And I do agree that we should separate the art from the person. I mean, if we look at the history of most of these people that have created these great works of art throughout history, most of them have done some crazy wild stuff. The times have changed, and with the internet, honestly, it's been really difficult for people to do that and separate the art from the person. But as for people like Ye, I definitely feel like he's trying to use shock to garner attention, which is crazy, because at the end of the day, the dude is still Ye. He's a legend. But he's definitely been rolling with the all news is good news mentality. That definitely starts to have diminishing returns after a while.
Just saying, based on the information that I've seen and read, it doesn't seem like he's a great dude. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like he's father of the year contender.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't seem like he was boyfriend of the year contender to anyone. And so you see somebody like that drop an album, and I'm enjoying it. I'm listening. I'm not looking to Carti for any of these things, which I think is the difference between some of the other artists. I don't look to Carti to say anything. I don't look for any substance.
No, of course not. If you're looking for any of that, you're looking at the wrong artist. It was just literally line after line of random bars. They didn't really have any ties between them. What Carti is selling in his music is obviously energy and emotions, basically metal rage trap. But yeah, I don't really see too much substance in the actual lyrics at all.
Don't look for any inspiration, so I'm just listening and vibing, and I'm like, oh, this sounds dope. There's a choir on Crush. I'm loving it. But, then you get Kendrick jumping on the song, and I think this is where this debate happens, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion, because I don't necessarily have a fully formed one on it, as I usually do.
On the project?
No, on Kendrick jumping on records with a guy who maybe faces the same criticisms that he was throwing at somebody else. Yes, in the context of the battle, but also afterwards when he put out Watch the Party Die, where it was a clear kind of line in the sand, and he was saying, a certain type of morality code that he wanted to live by and wanted hip-hop to live by isn't necessarily being followed by the person that he has 3 songs with. So I think people are kind of unsure how to feel.
I think that's stupid, because there's nothing you can do with absolute purity unless you do everything yourself. Fully vertically integrated. For instance, like, let's say I'm Miles Minnick, and I only want to do Christian rap with other Christian artists, right? Okay, cool. But then when you go to distribute that product, do you know who the distributors are? They could be pieces of shit. They could be, domestic abusers. They could be verbally abusive.
That's very true. They may only be in the business because it makes money and not necessarily because they share any of the same values as you do.
If like you don't have control of that, then when your music gets distributed to all of the various platforms, it's on Spotify now. Okay, have you vetted everybody at Spotify? Do you know are they good people? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I think that's foolish for people to think that I'm gonna be holier than thou in every capacity possible. That's just not possible. We're all human. We live in a human experience. The best you can do is control you. And like, for instance, what we talk about, me, I'm out. I don't expect Jeremy Heck to be out. I don't expect Elliott Wilson to be out. I don't expect my mom to be out. I could walk in and she listening to Kanye. I don't care.
I expect my mom to be out.
It doesn't. Well, yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. You know what I'm saying? A little bit different.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your Jewish mother would have something to say about some of the things that Ye has been saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A little different lineage there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, I think it's foolish for people to try to put that and paint everybody with the same brush. Like Dot, let's say, like you just said, Cardi faced the same criticism Dot faced. Who don't face criticism for whatever it is that they face? And who are you to dictate which criticism is worthy of a feature or not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's true, and that's the thing. Once you put your art out for consumption, you're not only opening it up for praise, but you're also opening it up for criticism. It's just part of the nature of putting your art out there.
I'm not doing, like, that's like a female artist. Like, I mean, our artist, like, I need a female artist, but I'm not working with no girl who wear weaves. It's like, okay, or I'm not with no girl who goes to other country to get BBLs done by unsanctioned doctors.
Well, no, it'd be different. You would say, like, I'm not doing an artist with a guy who's an abuser.
No. I'm not making a false equivalency. I'm just saying that the principle of it is you can say this, but you can't paint everybody with the same brush.
That's fair.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't just you can't just single out everybody. So yeah, if Dot were to do that, then what about people who we don't know who has these skeletons in their closet? Like, how do you dictate that?
Well, but I guess the argument would be if you do know.
We don't.
I see where he's getting at. The people that are doing these actions but just haven't been caught yet. And if they are ever caught, obviously they're going to face the consequences of their actions. And Drake always painted himself out to be like the good guy, the stand-up dude, when that allegedly wasn't the case at all. And he was doing all these nefarious things behind the scenes. Playboy Carti has never painted himself to be that guy. On the contrary, he's usually depicting demonic imagery and stuff like that. I don't think anyone ever looked at this guy as a beacon of light.
Oh, no.
Or if you see something and you know how it's going to look.
Has Carti been convicted?
No.
That's my point.
Yeah. And the other
thing.
That's
the court of public opinion. That's the bullshit what I'm talking about. Like, Elliott hasn't been convicted of anything. But what if we was just like...
Throw his name in there. It's obviously crazy. Because I wouldn't want my character to be linked to Drake or Carti's behavior.
No, I'm just saying, bro.
Convicted of loving you and loving this show.
I'm just saying, like, what if we were just like, you know what, Elliott, they killing him on the internet for being a curmudgeon and he a hater. We not doing no shows with haters. It's like, bro, he haven't been convicted of being a hater.
All that's just a byproduct of the Drake beef, and it's like, well, you say you ran to Atlanta. He's from Atlanta.
That shit's
you ran to Atlanta.
Yeah. If the person is convicted of something by whatever due process is we have in it and we have in society.
But I also think it's different. I don't. Here's the thing. I guess you get to the point where like we judge it by crimes, right? Like he's saying, like the implication is that you're the
PDF and being a deadbeat are two totally different things on two totally different levels. While it's definitely crappy to be a deadbeat father and not want any involvement in that child's life, being a PDF is many, many levels above that.
R. Kelly, you commit crimes, you convicted of crimes. Levels. Okay, we begin to cancel you, but until you get to that point, we can't judge everything by this sort of human compass.
Court of public opinion.
Because also the difference between something that Kanye does, he's presenting that to us, though. Correct. That's the difference. Carti's not presenting that to us, whether it happened in his past relationships or not.
That's true.
Doesn't defend it, but I'm just saying it's not at the forefront of our thing. So I'm just looking at it from art. And what I think was interesting about the art here is that it's very strategic that Kendrick is on the album the way he's on the album. Being on 3 songs. I joked about how, Stimulus Drake only did 2 features with people and stuff because...
You know what you're doing there.
Yeah, Drake. No, but think about it. But Drake, because if Drake did that, he would partner with you and make a full project. Drake's not giving you free features. That's a lot of features, right?
He gave Khaled 3 features.
No, he did 2. Never gave free.
Oh, you're talking about one body of work.
I think it's very strategic.
Yeah, Elliott is obviously talking about giving 3 features on one album. Drake in total has probably given Khaled 3 records, but obviously not on one project. And I do agree that he is more likely to just do a collaborative album with somebody than give somebody that many features.
That Kendrick gave 3 features.
One of them was just ad-libs.
And it wasn't like, it's my shit with you, it's all your shit. Because it was him proving what I said earlier, and everybody tore me up, is that he's now the leader of the culture. Drake is not that. And what he proved with that is he could fit Carti's aesthetic. You know, you always say this, he's only do woke music and all this type of shit, all these false accusations about his art. He could go into Carti's world and add to his world.
Yeah, man, because those were erroneous statements to begin with. Kendrick Lamar has tons of records that highlight his ability to go between sounds, all sorts of different production and soundscapes in his music, for literally his whole career. So it's crazy that people can run with such a narrative that's so false and could be easily proven false.
And go on the Mojo Jojo record and ad-lib and back him up and saying bitch and hoe and the ad-libs and all that type of shit and turn up. Make the record with him and Janae. That's like, people say it's like a baby version of Luther for like the YNs. What's it called? I'm sorry, the second joint, the singing joint. Like make that record and then make also Good Credit, where he's more giving you the bars and the verses and the whole thing. Like, and I think all those features are very strong. And I think that he shows his versatility, that he connects to that space too. And it's like, even at the beginning of the Mojo Jojo, he's like, yo, Cardi, bring me that old shit. It shows like
that alien shit.
This guy's been my label mate for all these years. Kendrick's not in some bubble, as you know, like, I never know what Playboy Cardi's about. He's more about what Drake and those guys are doing connected to that. It's like, no, I know what this nigga's been doing too. And now I'm going to stay in his world. As I said earlier, as DJ Head loves to, the victor goes to spoils. He wins that rap battle. So now Cardi is seeking him out to get his input on the record.
And honestly, I think Playboy Carti is much more than just an Atlanta act. While he is from Atlanta, I would probably argue that most of his popularity and fame comes from outside of Atlanta. The dude definitely has a lot of suburban kid fans. For the people complaining about lyricism, the assignment for these features on the Carti project were never to write some powerful think piece, something that obviously Kendrick has done a multitude of times on his own projects, because it doesn't make sense for a Carti album. That's not the vibe they were trying to convey. And you don't want to just have verses that have nothing to do with each other. You still want the whole record to make sense as a whole.
Right? And once that battle ends. And now, all of a sudden, there's alleged that he had a record with Drake that academics alleged that was sampling Luther Vandross that didn't make the album, because he's choosing a side. He's choosing a side of leader of the culture and riding that wave, whether he says it or not. He's not going to diss Drake publicly, but he made a decision. So, again, Kendrick's showing the versatility that he is our top guy right now, whether you like it or not. And this guy's ascending to stardom. And now he's in that big boy conversation with a Kendrick and with a Drake. And he's in that room with them now. It's not just a cult following. But I love what Kendrick did on the album.
Yeah, the other thing I thought was really interesting, before we go into the album review, that what Kendrick did with Mr. Morale, I always talk about how it helped him not only in the battle, but put out his flaws and really showcase, like, I'm not the savior, I'm not the perfect.
Well, if you take accountability for your faults and for your failures, you really take the power out of people being able to use that against you, you know? You're being transparent, and not only are you owning up to your actions, but you're conveying to people that you don't have to be perfect to walk a better path later. Because guys, no one on this planet is perfect, and given with social media pushing the narrative that you have to be perfect, that you have to always be doing the right thing, that there's certain metrics you have to meet to be successful, it's definitely a good message to spread.
Perfect person. The other thing that I thought he was doing on that album that was really interesting was putting Kodak Black on there as like kind of like the other side to him. And like, you know, they talk about being Geminis, and they talk about, you know, how things could have gone differently for Kendrick had he grown up differently or been a product of different circumstances or an environment. But aligning himself with Kodak on that album, I think helped him do things like this and partner with Playboy Carti on an album like this, because it showcased, I can bring people into my world, I can go into their world, and I'm also
and it still sounds authentic to you. It still sounds good, and it was properly executed. Because a lot of times when you get these people with like different sounds and different styles, it just comes out sounding like a mess. There really is no cohesiveness. So I hope people realize how much of a talent it is to take these different factors and circumstances and make them all work together.
Okay with the imperfections of other people. So I do think that because he showed, I'm not perfect, I'm not your savior, even though people still want to put him up and say, hey, this is the savior. He can do no wrong. He's flawless. He told you he was flawed. He told you he can be with people who you might not see as perfect, like a Kodak Black, and still be alongside them.
Isn't that crazy that the only people putting that savior tag are people trying to tear him down with that tag? I feel like a lot of the negative things that people say about the dude is due to other people coming up to conclusions about what Kendrick Lamar may be thinking.
And still showcase their music, or whether it be an XXXTentacion, who is far from perfect, and there's a lot,
And showed his
with
flaws.
him, and showed his flaws, and
repairing his marriage, the whole thing. Like he should put it out there.
You know what's interesting, and I don't think I've spoken on this before, but I don't look at Dot like a rapper. I look at him more of like an artist. Like I look at Prince, or like even like.
I definitely agree there as well. Dude is way more than just a rapper. He is a true artist in every sense of the word. When you have someone that pays that much attention to the arrangement of a record and the structure and all the different layers, and then zoom out and make that record fit with like 12 other records, 18 other records, and weave a tangible story, that is art. That is an art form. And it's something that now really isn't done that often. It truly is a different skill set that I don't believe most people have now. I know development plays a huge factor into all that, because now these labels just take something that's already hot, throw a little money behind it, and call it a day. But it seems like everything, not just the music, is done with intention. I think a lot of the backlash is honestly just coming from salty stans, upset that their hero took a L, which in their eyes was never a L. He actually won the beef, guys. Drake won the beef. And like I've said before, you can't reason with people that didn't use reason to get to their perspective. At the very least, Playboi Carti understands where Drake's stock is right now versus Kendrick Lamar's. And at the most, he probably never rocked with Drake like that anyway. Drake does sometimes give off the vibe where he's trying to like suck up to these other acts to make them like him. Or a lot of times it does come off as like disingenuine. It comes off like he's playing a role. And also, again, I do want to highlight the fact that a lot of Kendrick's childhood friends are Playboi Carti's big homies. So I don't understand why there would be any confusion as to who Carti would have more loyalty to. And for people that think that Kendrick Lamar is running to Atlanta, the dude is the #1 rapper right now. He has 3 songs in like the top 5. And if anything, having Kendrick Lamar on there is doing Carti a lot more benefit than it is for Kendrick Lamar. And as far as the overall sound on these records, guys, just listen to any of the Keem collaborations. The guy has been doing this for a while now. I definitely agree that right now he is the leader. I don't know why it's so hard for people to swallow that pill. I don't really even think it's that much of an argument. None of this is saying that Drake has fallen off the planet. But right now, Kendrick Lamar is the man of the moment, and he's been that dude for the last year. I was actually looking at some of his tour dates earlier, and I'll tell you right now, the ticket sales are looking very, very healthy. And again, these aren't arenas, these are stadiums. So no matter how much Drake or the OVO army want to take steam away from Kendrick's run, it seems to be having no effect. But definitely let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the Kendrick Lamar features on the Playboi Carti album? Also, let me know if you guys have any theories as to why the Drake song didn't make the album. A lot of times it could have just been that it didn't fit the overall sound. And also let me know if you guys think that Kendrick Lamar is right now the leader of the new school. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for making this channel a part of your day. It honestly means the world to me, and all the love and support that you guys continue to show this channel on a daily is honestly overwhelming. So I really want to let you guys know how grateful I am. I'm really looking forward to what you guys have to say on this. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys. It's funny how Drake stans are trying to project things onto Kendrick Lamar. Definitely very insecure.